I have a friend who is an x-ray technician for a doctor's office. She met her latest boyfriend there, but I honestly don't know what she saw in him.
Welcome to Across the Table, the podcast of Hannibal the Magician.
Greetings from the top of the world, Estes Park, Colorado, where I have made my happy little home and living out my season in solitude. It has been a very interesting week, to say the least. Some of it a little stressful, some of it a little anxiety-prone. I'm going to cough now. And I don't have a cough button set up yet, so there's a little extra. Oh man, a little bit of ground to cover, so let's jump right on in. It is still an amazing life up here. It snows at least once a week. And some of it's a lot, and some of it's a little, but it's always gorgeous. And I've got the mountains surrounding me, and I've got the serenity of the peacefulness of the mountains and the upper part of Colorado itself. I am creating art and trying new ideas and trying to stretch out what I'm doing to fulfill the vision that I have for this particular thing. For those of you who don't know, I am up here at the Stanley Hotel, which was the inspiration for Stephen King's The Shining. That is just one of the stories in a very, very long and rich history of this place, where a man literally came here to die, and it ended up saving his life. I'll tell you all about that sometime in the murky future. But I am certainly, it's a gift to be able to do what I do. And my right now we're kind of in the off season, so I'm doing 3 nights a week, 2 seance sessions per evening. And when the busy season hits, right at Memorial Day, we are going to increase that to 6 nights a week and 3 sessions per night. And it's going to be really hard work, and I'm going to be incredibly exhausted, and I am so looking forward to it. I cannot tell you, just and I may have related this to you before, but the way I got to where I am was by going to work. By going out to the street, literally going out to the street in Charlotte, North Carolina, and setting up my table and staying there for hours and hours and hours to try to get grocery money, to feed my family, to try to get rent money, to pay my bills, performing and putting out the hat. And that's how you get good. Just you get out there and you do the work, and you do it repeatedly, and you do it badly, and little by little you get better. So this upcoming season, 18 performances a week. And man, it's going to come out so polished and so in a direction or I cannot see the finished picture in my mind. But I really look forward to discovering it little by little, like slowly unwrapping a present, So that's going to be amazing. The vision that I have for this, I was hired, in a nutshell, to present a theatrical seance program for arguably the most haunted hotel in the world. Some people that are a part of this of the hotel don't like the word haunted because it has negative connotations, but it's got that reputation of its hauntedness. And if we are haunted by anything, if you get to know the history of the hotel, we are haunted by happy memories and friendship and love and a certain passion for keeping the history in this arena. So I came to do a seance, and of course, the very first thought is to be spooky and to make it perhaps like a Halloween program. The parameters that were given to me and the boundaries that were given to me were the history of the hotel needed to be put into the program somehow. It needed to reflect what the hotel was about, which is great. It's exactly what I'd love to do and tell that story. But also to make it not very Disney, to not make it like you're taking a ride in the Haunted Mansion. And so I took those 2 challenges and a boundary, a goal of my own, to make the show uplifting, to have people leaving not going, boy, that was scary, but to leave with the feeling of some kind of, if not closure, but some kind of I'm glad I came. I learned new feelings. I explored new avenues and perhaps made a friend or two. And I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to that. Now, of course, a lot of it hangs on the personality and the expectations of the people that come in. But so far, so good. And I'm very, very pleased with the results. It is serving my heart and my art really, really well. And I get to do some magic that people don't even know about, which, how neat is that? Right? So, you have questions about that? By the way, if you have any questions about anything that I do, send them along to me. I'd love to answer questions here on the podcast. You can leave them in the comments of whatever you listen to, or you can email me at info@themagicartist.com. And I'm pretty sure there'll be a link in the description of wherever you're listening to this podcast on. But info@themagicartist.com, and I'll address any of those questions as well. Patrons who support this channel get these podcasts 10 days earlier than anybody else. So you can also sign up to the Patreon if you wish. Patreon.com/magicartist. And that's really all I'll say about that, because I'm not in this for the money. It is nice to have the support. It is wonderful to have people who would like to lend $5 a month to be a part of the support of this. And you have my sincere thanks if you do, my gratitude. Speaking of which, and I should have been prepared, but I'm not, so let me open this up right quickly. I do have a question from my pal, Ted Loring. Ted sent a question along last week that we responded to, and then he had another question later, or in the follow-up to that. And I want to make sure that I get his wording right, so I am going to pull this up while you stand by and listen to dead air, I suppose. Sorry. Where are you? What'd you do? Oh, here we go. So, Mr. Loring writes, well, first of all, he writes, "Hey, thanks for answering my questions. It was interesting to hear about how you read an audience. I found out that I've already been doing some of the things you suggested to reach my 65 and older audience. I focus on hits of the 50s and 60s. Sometimes I've changed the lyrics to some of the songs to include local landmarks. I still play with the joy, my friend." And that is great news to hear. Thank you, Ted. His follow-up question was, "Have you talked about the song you play at the end? I might have missed that in a past podcast. Who wrote and performed it, and how did it come about?" That song is called "Love Is Everything," and it is by an artist called Selwa Luke. A few years ago, I helped her to get her first album recorded and published. And in return, she took some time and she put some real heartfelt thought into this song, "To Love Is Everything." She recorded it and played the piano on it and sang it and gave it to me to do with whatever I wished with it. There's a returning refrain in the song that says, "I hope there's love where you are," which I tend to close a lot of my programs with, certainly the vlogs and the podcasts and the live shows that I do. The last thing that I say before signing off is generally, "I hope there's love where you are," which I do. The one thing I would wish for everyone, the one thing that I would hope for everyone, is that there is a source of love that you can plug into and reach out to and feel. And I mean that in all sincerity. So that's the story of that. Selwa Luke, "Love Is Everything." Yeah, and it'll be at the end of this program as well. It has been a number of years since I started using it, and it still gets me misty, man. It still does. Still gets me right in the old heartstrings. And I am eternally grateful for Mrs. Luke and for her talents and for sharing them with me. Here's the story of this week. Actually, there might be more than one. One's kind of a downer. One's kind of well, I gotta open up. I gotta open up my vulnerability. I gotta open up my heart for the second one. But so Saturday night, we have an almost full house. We have one seat left, and just about an hour before everything begins, that seat gets sold, and it is sold to a solo gentleman, which is rare in the kind of show that I present and the seance show that I'm putting on. If we get a single ticket purchased, it's usually a lady, someone who is looking for, I don't know, that kind of entertainment. So, okay, so cool. That's awesome. I'll certainly give my best to anyone who takes a seat in my little chamber. But this gentleman walked in, and because I look at people and I look at mannerisms and I read people from, this all comes from years and years of just working on the street, I just got a very strange vibe. I got a very uncomfortable for me vibe from this gentleman. He was scowling. He didn't speak to anyone in particular. He wouldn't make eye contact when I tried to engage him in conversation, which I try to do with everyone who walks in, just so that they can be more comfortable and so that I get to know a little bit about them and the way they're liable to behave. And he just seemed very introspective and very, and that's all okay. That's all fine. But then there just seemed to be a a darker sense about him. That's the best way I can describe it. And he was wearing jeans and a hoodie, and he was in his, I'm going to put him late 40s, early 50s perhaps. And he kept one hand in his pocket. He kept his right hand inside his hoodie pocket, and it looked like he was holding something. His left hand would bring his phone out every once in a while, and he would look at something or check the time or whatever it was he was doing, but his right hand was holding something in his pocket. Couldn't figure out what it was, but my imagination sometimes goes crazy. When you purchase a ticket for the seance program, you take a look at our rules, you take a look at the guidelines that we recommend. Because it is an emotionally charged program, we ask that anyone who has had a recent bereavement or is still stinging from a loss to maybe reconsider and come back at a later time when they're feeling a little more stable, because it can be very emotional, this little program. And it's also made very clear, and you have to check a box before you can purchase a ticket, that I am not going to, and I'm putting air quotes out here, I'm not going to summon someone you lost. I'm not going to bring your mom or your dad or your brother or anybody. I'm not going to try to summon a personal spirit for anyone in the room. I understand the sadness and I understand the longing and the wanting to communicate, but it is not part of the program that I wrote. It is a theatrical seance experience. So that is all made very clear to anyone coming into the chamber. And, you can make your choice to not come if you don't like those things. Anyway, all that just to say these things were known before anything started. So he didn't really want to participate. He didn't really want to be involved with things. There's a part of the program where people write down their happy places. I ask them to write down a place or a time or a person or something that brings them joy, that makes them happy. And I try to tie into that. I try to expand on that, to open that, to bring that part of their own story into what we're doing. And this gentleman wrote down Walter White as his happy place. And Walter White, of course, is the anti-hero of Breaking Bad. And when I kind of tried to query him about why, his response to me was, well, he gets rid of anything and anyone that gets in his way. He doesn't take crap from anybody. And so, of course, the red flags and the warning bells and everything else is going off in my head. About 2/3 of the way through the program, he interrupts me and says, look, I just want to talk to my grandmother. I want to make sure that she's proud of me and that I am doing the right things. And stopped the program cold. As you can imagine, I went over and I sat down next to him, and I gently as possible told him that wouldn't be possible. That's not something that I do. That's not something that, I was going to even attempt or pretend to do. And some other people that were in the audience backed me up, also very gently. Nobody was mad or upset. They understood. They could feel his pain as I could, but they gently told him, no, we all signed a paper that said that wouldn't be a thing that was happening. And you could tell that didn't make him happy, but he dropped the subject, and we concluded with no further incident. On his way out, this gentleman stopped the hostess, who stands outside at the end of the show, and he told her that we were frauds. And then he went down to the bar and remained there for the rest of the evening. So there's my story for the week. Am I a fraud? Absolutely. I've been a fraud for probably as long as I can remember. I'm an artist. I'm an actor. I pretend to make magic happen so that I can offer comedy or drama or any number of other emotions, any range of emotions that I can pull out and share with the people I care about, and those are the people in my seats and in my audience and in my theater. Whether I am doing my comedy magic show or whether I am doing a more dramatic presentation of performance conjuring or whether I am doing a theatrical seance, I put my heart and my soul into it, but I am, in the sense of the word, pretending. I am presenting for you my thoughts, and I have painted them, and I have put them on the canvas, and I am putting my heart out on the table for people to see. And it is genuine, but it is an act. So there's your conundrum. There's your yin and your yang, your balance between, telling lies in order to lead you to the truth. It's also one of the lines of Selwa's song, as a matter of fact. If you look closely, you'll see the truth behind all of my lies. I have a friend. I have a very dear friend who's going to be celebrating his 80th birthday very, very shortly now. I got a phone call from this dear friend who has been a teacher to me, who has been a mentor to me, who has been a wall I could lean on when the rest of my life was falling to pieces. Very much like Ted. He has not given me any permissions to tell his personal business over the airwaves, so I'm not going to give his name, but suffice it to say, he is one of the dearest humans in my life and has been for many, many years. I'll tell you this story another time, but he gave me a single-person standing ovation when I called a theater full of magicians bitches. I'll tell you that story another time. Anyway, I got a phone call from my friend telling me that he had been diagnosed with colon cancer, and he's had a surgery for it, and everything looks good and everything looks bright, but senior and surgery and cancer, and all of those words kind of fell on me at the same time. Now, he was in great spirits about it. He was in great hope about it, and both in hope and good spirits in that he could overcome it, or that his body could overcome it, and he could have a few more years here, and also hope and happiness and joy in the fact that this might be the end. This might be the part of it, and either way, he was okay with that, and more than okay, joyful and celebratory, because he'd lived his life the way he wanted to, and he did good for other people, and he did not pursue fame and fortune. He pursued quality and truthfulness and heart, and he's a fine magician, and he's an incredible actor, and he is part of that world. He lives his life just to be, just to be, not to be famous, not to be rich, not to be well-loved or well-liked or even respected. He lives his life to be, to use the gift that has been imparted to him. His plan, all of it when he told his friends way back, that he was going to pursue a life of performance, that he was going to pursue a life of giving, that everyone encouraged him, yes, but do have something to fall back on. And he said, my fallback plan is to not have anything to fall back on. Sorry, I'm still moved by the conversation we had. Nothing to fall back on except that exactly the universe has your back and is holding you up. That's what he has to fall back on, is himself and the life he's been given. He spent his life following the voice that said, come here, come here. Wait till you see what we have for you waiting over here. And of course, you set your own goals. I want the program that I have to continue on and to improve and to be polished. And I want my life to show the quality and the love that I have and want to put out for the universe, because it's the universe that's supporting me. And it's people like you who listen and understand and maybe share my story. And for nothing else, the legacy that I leave for my children and for my grandchildren is not going to be monetary, because I stopped chasing that quite a while ago. It's going to be the stories. It's going to be the podcast, the vlog, the words that I type on a page, because my life has been haunted by stories for 57 years now. Started off pretty dramatic, and it's just kept on improving all the way through. Call your friends. Call the people that you love. Reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. There may come a time when the time gets shorter than you expect. In the meantime, look down, see where your feet are, and be in it. Be in that place. Do the job that is in your hands. Use the gift you've been given. You might suck at it for a while, but it's going to get better, and you're going to reach people and touch people you don't even know. And you're leaving your little check mark on history. Just this brief life, and the gifts we've been given, and the love that surrounds us everywhere. I hope that I reached, at some level, the angry gentleman that attended my show Saturday. I hope my friend knows how much I love him. I hope all of my friends know how much I love them. I hope that I'm a good example for someone. I hope that I am the person that someone needs to hear from. I hope I am serving the one who gave me this gift well. That's what I ask for. And the other thing that I hope is simply that I hope there's love where you are.
I may not know exactly where this road is taking me, but I know that I'm exactly right where I'm supposed to be. The journey is long, full of joy and pain, but as long as you're smiling, I'll stand in the rain. I've got nothing left to give other than love. But the funny thing about that is, love is everything. I hope there is love where you are. I hope there is love if you'd open up your eyes, you would see nothing but the truth behind all of my lies. I broke every rule, and I bore every boulder, and I carried